Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Doujinshi, and welcome back to another episode of Hentai Reviews, the only series where we would call you by my name, but unfortunately, I forgot both of them about 3 days ago, and this is going to be a very awkward hookup. Dated humor aside, I do like that song, and I think it's really cool. So, today we are going to be doing Lover-in-Law Episode 2, a series done by our friends over at Discovery, who... This is a strange series, because it has a pretty, bare bones basic plot, guy wants to hook up with a girl has a husband, husband's always away, girl gets drunk, everything that happened in the first episode. But there is just a little bit something about this that is, I don't know, I like it in a certain way. Also, to the 55 people that are here, I appreciate the fuck out of every single one of you and all the people who have yet to join. Because these videos have been getting really good views as of late, and I can't say anything else, but I appreciate the hell out of you. So, let's go ahead and get on to the actual review. Lover-in-Law Episode 2, done by our friends over at Discovery, that runs about 26 minutes and 35 seconds long, a little bit long, a little bit on the longer side when it comes to these sorts of things, with a total of 13 categories, notable of which are MILF, Harem, and Toys. Now, if you've known my channel for at least a little bit, you'll know that real-life MILFs, something that I'm just not super drawn to. Anime MILFs, chef's kiss. That's a gold rush. Toys are also fun. There's a reason why Toys R Us closed. That's because toys are now in us. Starting off with the same guitar-based OP as it plays in the beginning. I'm pretty sure in the first episode it played a little bit after they had some things going on, but it's fine. Right. And it starts right out the gate. It starts right out with the guy going to town with everything that he's got on his mouth. Scene 1 goes from 45 seconds in to 1 minute and 25 seconds in. It's pretty much like a, hey, are you watching? Sort of thing. Hey, pay attention, we got some stuff to do. It kind of shocks you into what's going on. But it goes into the two characters, the main one and the female who is also the boss. I'm just going to refer to her as the boss and the male as main character, because a lot of names, a lot of reviews. Gotta keep it simple. Except for this one girl that I will be referring to her as her name, because I wanted to say the new girl, but then I felt like, she's a little bit better than that. The two talk about the new employee, Kozu, the redheaded girl from the last episode who caught them hooking up. And they were talking about how they caught him and how they've gotten a little bit of a cold shoulder from her. And the boss and the employee chat for a while in a little bit of a flashback, kind of showing off how she is in fact giving them a cold shoulder. And then the boss tells the main character, hey, I think she's really lonely and she kind of eyes the way that we are. So I want you to go out on a date with her. And the guy's like, that's weird. And the girl grabs his dick and says, you're doing it. And he's like, okay. So that's a pretty good motivator. And, well, the guy and Kozu decide to go on a date to a water park / public pool, which, apparently in Japan, public pools are beautiful and absolutely amazing, but because in America, public pools are gross. Everybody wants to go in them until they turn 16, and then they're like, alright, I know what's in that. I'm never going in that ever again. So, they go to the pool, and then they have dinner, and it's pretty much just champagne. And the guy's like, wow, you're so mature when you're not at work. And she's like, heh, I'm the little tipsy. So, they decide to chat, and then they walk home, and the girl Kozu says, hey, I really like the walking home section of this, so if we could draw it out for a little bit longer. And the guy's like, I know where we can draw it out. Love Motel, exactly where you'd think. And they get a little bit romantic with the whole way they're phrasing it. And then scene 2 starts, running from 8 minutes and 50 seconds to 10 minutes with a short little intermission about 30 seconds long. Then it starts back up again at 10 minutes and 30 seconds, and then ends at 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Overall, pretty decent, 2 minutes and 10 seconds in total. He heads home to a jealous boss who gets very handsy, and yeah, scene 3 starts right out the bat once again at 12 minutes and 45 seconds to 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Once again, not super long, but, you know, I think 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I think it's a little bit longer than the rest, and it's still appreciated for the length that it's got. It then cuts back over. I am fucking up the way this thing is being held. Sorry, I'm on the last few pages of my little notebook, as you can see, and it's, I need to get a new composition book at some point to get my next scripts in. Hey, maybe I'll spend whatever money I get from ad revenue. Oh, wait, I don't get ad revenue. No, subscribe if you want more, and subscribe if you want better quality, because I'll be improving that shortly. The three meet in front of the store, have a little bit of an awkward thing where Kozu is constantly thanking each of them. And I'm like, hey, thanks for the fun night. And the guy's like, no problem, I'll do it again. At the drop of a heartbeat, you will not have to convince me to do it. And she's like, yeah, okay, but thank you anyway, thank you anyway. And then he goes off to school, and then Kozu looks back at the boss and says, thank you for letting him do that. I know it's really weird. Here. And she's like, but I think I need to quit the store. Or the boss says, wait, why do you shouldn't quit the store. I really like you working over here. And Kozu's like, you know what? I don't want to quit the store, but it feels weird that I might fall in love with your boy over there. There, your boy, average harem protagonist number 623. And she's like, I understand. That's something that he has just inside of him. But I have a better idea. You ever heard of this thing called polyamorous relationships? And she's like, no, what's that? And they're like, don't worry, they never work out. They sound good on paper, and you really hope they're going to work out. But then most of the time, they don't. Very slim chances. So they decide to go with that, and they talk to the main character. He comes back from school, and they're both waiting for him. And Kozu has a pair of those vibrating panties. Not vibrating panties. She has an actual, like, vibrating object inside of her, and she gets pretty horny every time it's activated. And then the boss is also like, yeah, I don't have one of those in me, but I'm also super horny. In which case, it cuts to scene number 4, running from 20 minutes and 25 seconds to 24 minutes and 15 seconds. Also pretty decent length. In which case, it then cuts to that next morning afterglow that usually appears, and a pleasant morning was had by all. So, now that we're here, let's skip over to that cheap transition photo that I think I fucked up on the last video. So let's go ahead and get to that. 3, 2, 1, go! Alrighty then. Right now we're going to be talking about the animation. There's a subtle, yet there's a good improvement that actually happens in this. And I can't help but feel like there's little details that just make the animation feel better. So, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It has that older style of animation where where scenes need fluidity, it's added. But a lot of the times it looks still and you think like, oh, it's older, so it doesn't have great animation. In certain spots, Like, there's a particular scene where the female character is bobbing her head up and down, as you do when you're using your mouth for things that aren't talking or eating. And there's little flicks in the hair that constantly move, and I don't know why, I can't stop thinking about that. That's just a good sight. 8 out of 10 when it comes to animation. Now, characters. They're not very complex, but they're very likable. They're just bubbly and, like, happy. When somebody is jealous, it's more like, I want to play with the toy now. Oh, but you know you have to share it. They're like, okay, fine. Fine, but I'm still gonna play with the toy afterward. Nobody's, like, maliciously being mean through the whole thing, and you don't really get a sense of, like, oh, they're just being, like, selfish when it comes to these things. They're likable with how agreeable they are, and I gotta give them credit for that. 7 out of 10 when it comes to the characters, and finally, what we're all really here for, the plot. There's an involved and intimate way that the actual 𝐻𝑒𝓃𝓉𝒶𝒾 scenes are, and I don't really know how to describe it other than, like, the camera angles are just close. They're held in still, and there's rarely that much background music that goes into it, and damn. I thought it was going to be distracting how there was going to be, like, no music in the background, but the music in the background is very subtle, and it emphasizes the actual scenes you're seeing on screen. The camera angles get close to places that need to be closes, and it does help that it is uncensored. So, you know, there's always that, where it just has a little bit more intimacy than you would expect. Like, it feels like you're watching, like, an actual couple go at it, than when it actually feels like, oh, it's just a porno. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 9 out of 10 with the intimacy, the great angles, and just the overall goodness of the scenes themselves. There's no way that I can explain it other than say, watch it for yourself. So, saying that I should watch it yourself, overall, I would give this a, averaging it out to an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10, this is a solid upgrade from the first episode. First episode didn't blow me away, it was perfectly average with what it did, and really wasn't anything big to write home about. It's something that I feel like you could watch if you wanted to. I'm not going to throw down your door to make you watch it. But the second episode, you can almost skip the first episode and go straight to this. Like, if you had to choose between one or the two, you could say, like, nah, I don't need to know what's going on in the first one, because it really doesn't play that much into it. The characters aren't mean and saying, like, oh, I caught you cheating, so now I'm going to be malicious and sneak that off. It's more like, I saw you having sex, so now I want to do that, because I don't really have anybody. So, it's... yeah, I think I can end it there. It's just good. It's really well done, and it's good. 8 out of 10, would recommend, and probably would recommend over the first episode as well. So, now that we're at the end of the episode, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here for the 5th time in the episode. Thank you all for being here, and if you want to see more of these videos, you can like the video if you want, you can subscribe, you know, if you feel like it, because subscribing to a channel that just reviews hentai, it's a little bit of a weird commitment, but I totally understand if you don't want to do it, but if you do, that makes me a lot happier. And I'm not going to break down your door to tell you to do it, unless I know who you are. Crusading happens even in the doctor's coat. So, until next time, I have been the Doctor, and I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here, and just remember, have a nice day. Don't be a dick, there's too many of them, and wash your fucking hands. I have been the Doctor. Peace.